the Arts Forum today, Isani Apedemak Sava from the Ensemble Theater is going to give a talk about their organization and current programming.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much. So my name is Isani. I am from the Ensemble Theater here in Houston, Texas. We are located in Midtown, right on Main Street. If you're familiar with where the Match Theater is and Mid-Main Lofts, we are right there. We're right across the street from Mid-Main, right around the corner from Match Theater. So I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with the Ensemble Theater, but we were started in 1976 by George Hawkins. He wanted to start a theater where African American artists and actors could express their voice. And so it was founded on that principle. Our founder, George Hawkins, sadly passed away in 1990, but our artistic director, Eileen J. Morris, who was a good friend of George Hawkins and was working with him since 1978, has kept our mission strong and kept it alive ever since then in preserving and expressing the African American artistic expression to a diverse audience. At the Ensemble Theater, we have a lot of different programs that people are not usually familiar with. Most of you might be familiar with what we call our main stage productions. So our main stage productions are the plays that we actually produce in our theater that get advertised. You might see a billboard, you might see some flyers circulating around the city and different things in the newspaper. You might see a review here and there. That's our main stage. What people aren't as familiar with, are our education programs. So in addition to our main stage, we have an education department. And our education department actually has several sub-departments. We have what we call the Young Performers Program, which starts at age 6 and goes up to age 17. The Young Performers Program is where you can bring your children to learn theater arts. They learn acting, singing, dancing. They even learn the technical theater aspect of producing art. So they learn sound, they learn projections, how to build sets, how to manage props. And every session culminates with the children doing their own production with the same quality that we put on our main stage. So the children actually do a play, but it's not your average children's play. With these plays, the children are actually directing and producing their own artwork. A lot of our Young Performers Program alumni have gone on to work in Broadway, work in Hollywood, and even come back to our main stage. The play that we just had before our Maya Angelou play was called Brother Toad, and the star of Brother Toad was Tanner Ellis, who had been with us since he was about 10 years old. He's in his late 20s now, and he's actually doing a lot of work on the OWN network, which is Oprah Winfrey's network, but he came back to join us to be the star of Brother Toad. So that just kind of speaks to the quality of the programming in the Young Performers Program. And if you have any questions about that particular program, I'd be happy to answer that and any and all questions after I speak. Another program that we have in our education department is called our Touring Education Department. And that is the program that is most in line with what our founder, George Hawkins, envisioned when he started the Ensemble Theater. Our touring education program is a touring band of artists that produce works, and we tour around to community centers, senior centers, colleges, high schools, middle schools, elementary schools. We perform work. Our most recent work, we did a big thing for Juneteenth that was performed all over the city, and we actually got temporary residents in the Children's Museum performing our Juneteenth program. So that's an example of the type of work that our touring education department does. And we also have an artist in residency program where we have teaching artists that are actually housed in residence in schools. We work a lot with the Houston Independent School District, and where we will have teaching artists stationed at schools to teach theater arts and arts education programs. So that's why I say when I say, people don't realize, but our education department is probably even more expansive than our main stage because we're just all over the city, and you may or may not even know we're there. In addition to our main stage in our education department, we have other things that we do at the Ensemble. We do venue rentals. We have several spaces that we rent out for different events. We partner with a lot of churches, a lot of community organization and education groups, and they come there to do their events. Most recently, June was Black Music Month, and so the Houston Black Music Awards was actually housed in our performance center, which is in the back on the opposite end of the building from the main stage. So those are just some of the offerings that we have at the Ensemble Theater. But I'm sure what you'd like to hear about is our main stage, because we have a really, really great play on our main stage right now that is just causing fireworks that everybody's talking about, we're excited about, other people are excited about. It is called Phenomenal Woman, Maya Angelou. It's a rolling world premiere, which means that we partnered with another theater to get this play produced. It started in North Carolina at the North Carolina Black Repertory Company, and it went straight to the Ensemble Theater. It does have producers that are involved with it, and their goal is to see this work manifested on Broadway either next season or the season after. It's written by Angelica Sherry, which, if you're familiar with her work, she wrote a play called Berta Berta, which just got published this weekend, by the way. She finally has the actual playbook that's available. She is such a beautiful, beautiful person, beautiful soul. She also writes for Godfather of Harlem, the Highway to Heaven reboot that is scheduled to be coming to Apple TV, and several other TV shows and movies. So Angelica Sherry wrote it. It is, I can't even begin to describe to you how awesome this play is. Every time I'm there and people come out, I saw it on opening night, of course. But every time patrons come out and they're just like, I didn't know this about Maya Angelou, or I had no idea she, had these different things occur in her life journey, and it's just so refreshing to see how she is still touching lives even after her transition, and having people learn these different things about her through this work. And what I found is that as people come out of the theater after seeing the play, they're really touched. And I think one of Angelica's primary goals when she was writing the play was to say, no matter who you are or where you've been, you can still have impact. No matter how bad you think it was, or how traumatic it may have been for you, you're still somebody, you still have value, you still have worth, and you can still make a difference. And just across audiences, regardless of age, race, gender, any other checkmark identity boxes that anybody identifies themselves as, that's one commonality that I see people coming out of the theater with. And so that excites me, is to know that, that human aspect of the story of redemption, and redemption within yourself without needing to find it outside of yourself, is the story that her life is still telling to this day. So I'm excited for you guys to see that. And that Phenomenal Woman is actually the play that is concluding our 46th season. So we'll be going into our 47th anniversary season in the fall. So I'm excited, one, because we are just ending the 46th season with a bang. And it's setting us up for a great continued recovery. I was just speaking to you about, the recovery from COVID and everything, and I think that this was the best case scenario, of just having us in this season with such a beautiful bang and sending us strong into the 47th season. So I will be around for a while. If you have any questions or anything that you want to ask me in particular, any insights, ask away. And again, my name is Isani, and I'm the Director of Marketing at the Ensemble Theater.
Please join us in Channing Hall for conversation.